Welcome to a special episode of Popcorn Podcast with Lee and Tim, where we welcome Twisters director Lee Isaac Chung.
I'm Tim Ifland, movie buff.
And I'm Lee Livingstone, entertainment journalist.
And we love to talk all things movies. And we've got a treat for you today, friends. Lee Isaac Chung directs Twisters, the long-awaited sequel to the 1996 original disaster flick starring Helen Hunt and Bill Pullman. In Twisters, a former storm chaser is lured back into the field to test a groundbreaking new tracking system, but crosses paths with a charming and reckless social media superstar who thrives on posting his dangerous storm-chasing adventures. As the storm season intensifies, competing teams fight for their lives as multiple storm systems converge.
Twisters is directed by Lee Isaac Chung, from a screenplay by Mark L. Smith, who brought us The Revenant, from a story by Joseph Kosinski, who did Top Gun Maverick, of course.
Awesome.
And based on characters created by Michael Crichton and Anne-Marie Martin.
Twisters stars Daisy Edgar Jones, Glenn Powell, Anthony Ramos, Brandon Perea, Maura Tierney, David Corenswet, Daryl McCormack, Kiernan Shipka, Nick Dodani, and Katie O'Brien.
A son of Korean immigrants, Lee Isaac Chung grew up on a small farm in rural Arkansas and attended Yale University majoring in ecology. During his senior year, Chung dropped his plans for medical school and turned to filmmaking. He studied film at the University of Utah, earning his MFA in 2004. And aren't we so glad he did?
Absolutely. Very grateful for that 180 to his study. Chung's first film, Munya and Garbo, premiered at the 2007 Cannes Film Festival to great acclaim and led him on a path to indie films. Then came Minari in 2020, earning him 2 Academy Award nominations for Best Achievement in Directing and Best Original Screenplay in 2021. Minari is a semi-autobiographical look at his life, and we loved this film so much you can actually check out our review wherever you get your podcasts.
Minari, wonderful Minari. It was such a good film.
So good.
So Twisters, as his follow-up to Minari, might sound like a big leap on paper, but Chung has always wanted to make big Hollywood blockbusters, and he got the chance to after he directed an episode of The Mandalorian for Disney+, getting the attention of Lucasfilm president Kathleen Kennedy, who is the wife of Twisters producer Frank Marshall.
It was meant to be. Now, also having grown up in Arkansas on the border of Oklahoma, Chung had experienced tornadoes growing up and was a huge fan of the original 1996 film. So if you ask me, the writing was on the wall for him to do this follow-up.
Yeah, and in this chat, the delightful Chung reveals he was ready to actually quit filmmaking before Minari. Oh, thank God he didn't. And what unique perspectives indie filmmakers can bring to blockbuster filmmaking, as well as the influence that Steven Spielberg had on the aesthetic of his Twisters.
So friends, let's take a listen.
Who are they?
It's Tyler Owens. Calls himself a tornado wrangler. If you feel it!
Isaac, congratulations on Twisters. It is brilliant. And I'm so happy to say that out loud to you. I'm such a huge fan of the 1996 classic, and I was nervous going into this one, but it absolutely lives up to the original.
Oh, I'm so happy to hear that. Thank you very much. Yeah, I'm a huge fan of the original as well, and we're just trying to honor it as well with what we're doing.
Well, you can tell that you're such a huge fan, and you've honored it beautifully. And I have to call out the set piece in the movie theater, which I won't say anything more about, is meta perfection on every level. And of course, I love that you shot your film on film. So yes, all the gloating accolades I can throw at you, I'll try.
I love the movie theater scene in the first Twister, with
Yes.
The Shining, and that was always in my mind. How do we top that? Because I felt like we need to pay homage to that, but we also have to justify why we're doing it. So really glad that worked for you.
Now, a director's audition is his last project, right? From your Oscar nominations for Minari to helming an episode of The Mandalorian, they were your auditions. Now, you've run towards a studio summer tentpole film, a big scary monster in of itself, but you've always wanted to make films like this. But you were about to throw in the towel, is that right? Why was that so?
Yeah, I mean, I was doing a lot of independent art house, very low budget movies, and having a hard time with getting any traction with that. I think at a certain point, once I became a dad, I started to maybe not take the work itself as seriously in terms of I need to make high cinema, high art. And Minari was just my way of trying to tell a very honest story about my life and things that I remember. And I just felt like this step was just me wanting to do what I want to do, to be honest. Like I've always dreamed of doing this. I feel like a little kid again, being able to do something like this. You know, I'm not trying to make career moves or anything like that. I'm just trying, life is short. I'm just trying to have, you know, take the opportunities that I just find very enlivening. And this one, definitely, I just felt was a breath of fresh air for me to do something like this.
I love that. I love that so much. And like yourself, having made Twisters after your indie movie Minari, like you said, Chloe Zhao made Eternals after Nomadland. And recently, Michael Sinosky went on to make A Quiet Place Day One, which I only saw yesterday and absolutely loved after he made Pig. I want to see more blockbuster films made by filmmakers like yourselves, like the lot that I just called out. What do you think indie filmmakers bring to the blockbuster movie that sets you apart from the pack?
I really appreciate that. I mean, those directors are incredible. I don't know. I mean, I feel like when you're in the indie world, there's a way of working that informs a new approach to the process. I kind of feel like I try to cut out a lot of the things within the big Hollywood scale of production that maybe are not as necessary and try to get to the heart of the storytelling. I'm not saying big tentpole filmmakers don't do that, but I just felt like coming from the indie world, that was very helpful. And then I've just been used to telling stories about human beings. And at the end of the day, I do feel like a movie like this, it still needs to be about humanity, needs to be about characters changing and growing and learning lessons and things like that, that we all understand in the indie world. You have to tell that story. With movies like this, there's a temptation to just rely on VFX and spectacle, but I think that human level story really needs to be told.
Yeah, you beautifully balance the tone of character and entertainment in your movie. And I think it's because you come from that world of indie filmmaking, but you have an incredible cast in Daisy Edgar Jones and Glenn Powell as well to sort of elevate the incredible script. Now, you had your own team of meteorologists on the film, keeping the cast and crew safe, given you actually filmed during tornado season. Is there a behind-the-scenes documentary on the horizon?
There was a young gentleman who was making a documentary, and we'll see if that ever, I don't know. They've kind of, the documentarians left me alone because they felt like I need my space to direct and those things. But yeah, we had meteorologists who were simply keeping us safe. So they would track the weather and tell us what to do and when we need to shut down and all those things. And then we had meteorologists separately who were advising us on the science of what we're portraying on screen. So we were just surrounded by these incredible actual storm scientists who were really helping and guiding this production.
You know, I'm a sucker for behind the scenes anyway. I just love to know how things get made and sink my teeth into that. So hopefully we see some more of that juicy stuff. Isaac, I read that you drew inspiration from some of Spielberg's films, who's an executive producer on Twisters and from the original, like Jaws and War of the Worlds. And the plane crash set piece in War of the Worlds is one of the best put on film. Was this one of the references for you to realize the sort of aesthetic to the destruction scenes in Twisters?
Yeah, absolutely. With that plane crash scene in War of the Worlds, the way that Spielberg reveals the disaster with the micro level to the macro level, all within, I think he does it in one single shot. And the way that he lights that scene with the smoke is backlit, and there's just so much going on in what he filmed. I just hope that I revere what he does, and hopefully that affection comes out in this movie. But, you know, I'm always feeling like he's up here, and I'm just trying to learn from him.
Look, you've made a banger. I can't wait for audience to see this. I'm seeing it again tomorrow, and I can't wait. Congratulations, mate. All the best for success.
Thanks so much.
You got quite the reputation, city girl. You think you can disrupt a tornado.
And Derek. Gosh, you know, I love that he was a fan of the original film, because it makes for a better product, doesn't it? And you can tell in what he has delivered in Twisters. You can see all the callbacks. You can see all the little details. It's really fun.
Yes.
I can't wait to see what other big Hollywood films he makes, because his transition from indie cinema is something to celebrate. But also, I really hope he keeps delivering some independent films too.
Yes, I mean, he probably now has, well, hopefully the film is a success, right? That he will have the sort of choice to toggle between going from making films more like Minari to Twisters.
Yeah.
So we'll see his films in July every couple of years, and then maybe
The summer
in October,
blockbuster
November.
season.
Yeah, the blockbuster season, and then the
Yeah.
more indie time of year later. Yeah, look, the nuanced lens indie filmmakers bring to big blockbusters pays dividends in, character development and balancing tone. And this movie is a wild ride, and you care about the characters, which adds to the experience.
Well, that was an integral part of the original film too. You really, really cared about the characters, and the Twisters in itself were characters too. Oh,
100%.
can't wait to talk about this film.
Me though. I'm so excited too.
Well, Twisters is in Australian cinemas from July 11, and our No Spoiler review is going live next, so don't forget to check it out. We'll also have a video interview with Lee Isaac Chung up early next week on our YouTube channel, so keep an eye out for that.
We absolutely will, friends. And thank you so much for listening.
We'll catch you next time.
Come and join in the conversation. You can like us on Facebook and follow us on Instagram at Popcorn Podcast.